Mark your calendars. The AZ Oktoberfest 2025 is happening 31st of October to November 2nd at the iconic Nitro Compound in Maricopa, Arizona. This track is next level with huge elevation, massive jumps, and fast technical layouts that keep the action intense all weekend long. Add some night racing under the lights and perfect fall desert weather with temperatures from 70s to the low 80s, and you have the ultimate RC weekend. Classes include novice, sportsman, intermediate, pro, 40 plus, short course truck, and you have the open class. This is for any skill level as a second buggy class. And of course, they have a 16 and under class with their dedicated 16 and under final. Race and hang out with RC stars like Ryan Mayfield, Spencer Rivkin, Spencer Heckert, Camden Lime, and the Iceman, Mason Fuller. They have a massive raffle from all the sponsors that participated, live coverage by Mod Live Media. This is one race you don't want to miss. Follow the Nitro Compound on Facebook and Instagram for more details, and get ready to send it at the AZ Oktoberfest.
Nitro is the glory,
but e-buggy pays the bills.
Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. But on this podcast, 10 Scale builds the skills. This is show number 327 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And joining me, our co-host, the chairman, who's been very busy. He's been traveling a lot. He's been racing. He just raced at the Euros as well. Is Will Venables, a.k.a. the chairman. Hello, Will. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? But I'm finally back.
You are a few shades darker than what I remember seeing you.
Yeah, I've finally got a nice tan instead of like being like British white and pale. So it just makes a difference for me. It will last like maybe a few weeks and then it'll be gone.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first time you and I have done a podcast alone. I think
I think so,
wrong.
yeah.
Yes.
Because normally you would have Max here, and 100% if Max was here, this would be like a 6-hour episode. Because every time I do a podcast with this guy, it gets longer and longer and longer, especially the topics we're going to get into as well.
He loves his tangents.
Longer.
He loves his tangents.
I need to use the watermelon seed on him quite a lot.
And it don't work. Nothing works with Max. Nothing works with Max.
Doesn't work.
Nothing at all. But we are going to get into what you've been up to real quick. What I've been up to. This is my first recording back coming off my trip to the USA. It's all about the 2025 10 Scale European Champions that took place in Trenčín, Slovakia at the Hudi Arena. Will participated. There was some drama coming out of there. There's always drama. Seems to be with 10 Scale European Championships for some reason. But it was a good race. I watched all the finals. They were very good. We're going to talk about it all. But before we do that, obviously, we have to pay some bills and say thank you to everybody out there. A big shout out to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do this without you guys. Thank you guys for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to go over to Will's channel and hit that sub, like, and notification button because he's got some vlogs coming out from his European trip as well. And you know what? Our analytics tell us. I watch this on a lot of podcast things. Or YouTube guys. Our analytics tell us that many of you aren't subscribed to the No Name RC podcast YouTube channel. So all it takes is a little sub right down there, subscribe button, that little thumbs up. Give us a like, give us a comment. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you want to comment it, the more comments, the better. But hit that sub, like, notification button. Please share it out. Go over to Will's channel as well. Do that as well. Help us get to 8,000 subs on this channel and more. So we greatly appreciate it. Also, big shout out to the patrons and the YouTube members of the NNRC. You will get early access of this podcast. If you like what we're doing, want to help us out, it all helps us out. Every little bit helps us out. Want to support the podcast a little bit financially, please do. Links for that in the written description of this podcast. A big shout out to these sponsors. Please showing the sponsors some love, show us the podcast some love. And we have links for them in the written description of this podcast. There are some affiliate links, which we get a little slice of. There's some coupon codes where you can save some money, and there are just some websites that you go to. Let them know you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. They are, first and foremost, J Concepts, our premier sponsor. Big thank you to Jason Wren and everybody at J Concepts. High Tech RC, Sidewinder Racing, Letire Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Dollar Hobbies. Keep on using that coupon code, everybody. Get Shit Done Coffee, Beach RC, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC. I'm going to have a video of me running that monster truck here shortly. Racecraft USA, who's got some cool new hats out, and my good friend Tony and Vicky at Clinic RC. Thank you all for the support. We greatly appreciate it. A big shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalk, Robert Battier, Alexander Hyberg, Maddie G, Pecco Evening, Una Hotnan, who was very fast at this race, and Mason Fuller, who won his second big Nitro race at Wicked Weekend. But that's for a different podcast. Pecco and I are getting together for that, and Max to talk about that here later on this week. But thank you to everybody out there. And I think, Will, we should do this before we get going. Something happened a few weeks ago. You was up there, and I thought it was pretty cool. So maybe walk us through it while I find the video about Neil Craig's 100th Nationals victory.
Yeah, so a lot of people know who Neil Craig is. He's one of the heroes in RC in the UK. Been one of the only guys really to win a world championship for us. I think it was 2005 in Italy. But Neil actually won his 100th national win at Bury Metro. It was the fourth round of the BRCA National Series. So I think Neil was starting to get a little bit worried that it wasn't going to happen, because I believe this year is his last year. That's what I did talk to him, and I think it is his last year actually. So I think he really wanted that 100th win, and he managed to get it. So I think once Lefty gets the video up, we can see. But you can see the emotion in his face, because Neil lost his dad a year ago. So, and anyone who knows Neil and his dad, everyone knows that his dad was kind of the mechanic and the brains behind the operation. So things have been a little bit tough for Neil, kind of since that's happened, since losing Mick, because he was a really nice guy, anyone that ever met him. So for him to win it, I think you can see the joy in his face when he crosses the line. He's absolutely ecstatic. I think he's the only guy in the UK to win 100 nationals. So obviously, absolutely congratulations to him.
And a cool dude. Let's play this video.
About 3 corners with the home yield threat towards the next one, 3, great
What I want to iterate is that Neil Craig has done this as a semi-pro, like part-time racer. He is not a full-time racer in RC. He actually has had a real job the entire time he's done this. He's won multiple European championships, a world championship, like you said, and probably one of the most iconic 10-scale racers in the world. And he's not a bad 8-scale racer when he puts his mind to it as well. So congratulations to Neil Craig. May he enjoy he's also retiring, right?
Yeah, so I believe his last race will be Robin Hood National at the end of the month. Actually, when the Buggy Euros is. So yeah, I spoke to him, and I think that's he's wrapping it up. That's going to be it, really. He did say he's going to make a return every year to this BRCA race we have. Actually, the one I vlogged, the BRCA Masters. So he should be making a yearly appearance there, but we'll see how long. But yeah, a bit gutting to see him go, to be honest. AE Pits will be different without him, and even the whole national season, can't even talk. National guys. So
it's the sun. The sun has got you. The sun has got you tongue-tied. And I would also like to say that he's done this with Associated. He's been with Associated his entire career. You don't see that very much or at all nowadays, I do believe. And yeah, I had him on the podcast. I think it was an audio-only podcast many years ago. Maybe I'll try and find it and put a link in here. But he's a good dude. And
it might be worth getting him back on. That'd be a good show.
That actually would be a good show to have him back on. I like to have him back on and Lee Martin. I like you know what? I always thought they were brothers. I swore they were like brothers or close cousins. Like they raced against each other so much, right? They went to so many races over the years. They were always good friends. And congratulations to him. He gets to chill out a little bit, enjoy his weekends, do something else on his weekends besides race RC cars. And yeah, enjoy retirement, but he'll be back. They always come back, and he'll get.
Yeah, he'll be back for sure. I reckon after that BRCA event, he'll be back.
Yeah, maybe not to the level of trying to compete all the time, but he'll come back once in a while. He will. Well, enjoy your retirement, and congratulations, Neil Craig, on your 100th win. And I say let's pay some bills, and then we'll find out what Will's been up to here shortly. Thank you to J Concepts for all their support. I got to hang out with Rona and Damien Barkowitz and all the J Concepts guys. Actually, Wicked Weekend was Paul and the guys, and then Hobbyplex INS was Rona and Damon. And Rona did some monster truck. That guy, he really likes monster trucks.
He really does.
He went to the World Championships up there in RC Madness this past weekend as we record this. I think J Concepts is coming up with something. He talked about it. I think he talked about it, that they're coming out with a monster truck as well, which should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I heard when I saw him in Barcelos as well. He was talking about that, so maybe stay tuned if you're a monster truck fan.
Oh yeah. So my buddy Sonny Santucci was there too. He's a good dude. I like him. Good to see him out there. He's a monster truck master. All right, let's get into what you've been up to. You have had a couple weeks at home, but you was busy traveling with the RC Racing TV crew. Shout out to them and all that they're doing. Check out their channel. Once again, congratulations to Matt and everybody for getting to 100,000 subs. And I really like the RC News, what they're doing. In fact, I watched this prior to coming on here to get a little information. So where have you been, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually basically been away basically since I came back from the Euros. I think when I'm actually going for my calendar now. So it was like basically been away since June. So I'm kind of like living your lifestyle at this point. So I've been a bit of everywhere. I went to Madrid for the e-buggy Euros. So I was there. Then I was at the GT8 Euros. That was a pretty interesting one because that's kind of like, I'm going to get some stick for this, but I kind of feel like GT8 is more, not a hobby class, but it's not as serious as like other classes. But I see the appeal in it. But
Max is going to be upset. Really he loves that class.
Does he? Oh, well, he's going to hate me now. So, that was pretty cool. And then I was the weekend after that, I was in Appledorn for the 10th Nitro on-road Euros. After that, I was in Barcelos for the 8th scale Euros. And then I had a week off and then came back and then went to ETS and then went to the Euros and actually finally raced. So, but I was kind of doing media everywhere I went, even at the Euros. I was actually vlogging. So, anyone watching this, I'll have a vlog coming out on this channel soon in the next few days. So you'll see my whole experience from the 10th scale Euros. But I mean, before RCTV, I was basically like making all the little video edits, if anyone sees them in between the live streams. And I was also doing a bunch of photos for EFRA and all that stuff, and a little bit of live streaming. So yeah, it's been weird being on a different side of RC, like not racing, like, and being on the media side and seeing it from another angle. So it's been cool, but I'm absolutely knackered. I don't know how Matt and the other guys do it throughout the whole summer, and even how you do it. But yeah, now I'm kind of finally home for a few weeks, and then I think my next trip should be ETS, and then the big one in Sydney in Australia. But I'm actually racing in Australia, so that's good.
Absolutely. All right. So out of all those races that you talked about, ETS caught my attention because you was telling us that there was some kerfuffle at ETS. I talked to some other people about it. So maybe you can run us through that.
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know, the ETS, that was in Eigen a few weeks ago. I think it was the first time in the 18 years with the ETS they actually had to call the event early. So it was basically raining the entire weekend. So basically what happened was they had to cut practice short and then go into qualifying. I believe it was on the Friday. So they did all the 3 rounds. No. So they did all rounds of qualifying until the very last heat of a modified. It basically poured it down the rain with 20 seconds to go. So that meant they had to rerun the modified guys, which I think they did the next day. Or it was later on during the day. I can't really remember now. So, but basically, all the other guys obviously went home, and it was the next day now. Now I remember. So the next day, they did the last round of modified qualifying, and they told everyone not to come because they were expecting more rain. So because all the modified guys were still there, they decided to run one leg of the A final. Well, that was the idea, but then it actually didn't rain for the rest of the day. So they actually ran all 3 legs. But this is a bit of a talking point because before going into the finals, the drivers were asked to make a vote whether, if on the chance they only ran 1 leg, that basically that result wouldn't count and qualifying would take preference. So even if they ran 1 leg, and let's say if, for example, Bruno won, it wouldn't matter because Orlowski would have won in qualifying because it was TQ. But all the drivers actually voted to count qualifying as the final result in the case only 1 leg was ran. In the end, obviously, all 3 legs were run because they had the time and was able to. But it does kind of make you think, is that kind of ruining the spirit of racing there? I kind of get why the ETS guys did it because everyone had already gone by this point. So all they could do is run the modified because they were the only guys there. So what else were they meant to do? But I also think the driver's side, I get there's 2 sides to it. And I get why, because those guys are getting paid to be there and they get race bonuses and, they're making their livelihood from that, feeding their children that money. So, if Bruno's like 3rd or like Volker's like 2nd or whatever, and he has a chance to have a guaranteed 2nd and that race bonus, it's kind of a no-brainer where like in that, if they did 1 final and then crash or get taken out, then that's it. But I also think, in the spirit of racing, I don't agree with it. There's plenty of races out there where it's 1 leg final. The Worlds, for example, on off-road or nitro are always just 1 final. So if you have a flame out, that's it. And that's for 45 minutes, which I guess is a double-edged sword. You have more time, but then also, I guess, if you screw up early and crash, then that's it as well. So, yeah, it was a bit of a tricky one. I think the ETS got a lot of stick for the only running the modified guys, but I think people need to understand that they put this news out in the morning. It was just the only thing they could do. Everyone makes mistakes. It is what it is. But I think they did the best they could with the weather because it was really pouring it down for the whole weekend.
And just to clarify, the stock class or the hobby class, they call it, or whatever they call it, stock class, they run handout motor and ESC. So that's probably the reason they didn't run in the rain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is because everyone asks this as well. So ETS, they don't run in the rain for 2 reasons. I think obviously one of them is, of course, the electric because it will hand out motors and speedos. They don't get, even though they're sponsored by Hobby Ring, they don't get that stuff for free. So they don't want to ruin, thousands of euros of electronics. So that's the first thing. And also they go wrong. As everyone knows, electrics and wets don't really go together. Then there's obviously when it rains, when it dries, where do you call like when the track gets faster and whatever, because the days are so long and the heats are so long. So I think that's a big part of it as well. So that's why they don't run in the rain. And also it's another tire that you'd have to add and figure out when do you declare which tire to run and so on. And it's more money, and I get why, to be fair. So that's why they don't run in the wet.
But the modified guys can, right? Or they don't allow them to run in the rain at all? Or just no rain running? Okay.
No one runs in the rain at all. I mean, there were a few guys just going around in free practice, but I think they're running spare cars or whatever, but nothing counted in the rain, put it that way. There was no racing.
I heard that Bruno and Scotty got at it. I heard they had a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of an argument there. Okay. I don't know how true that is. I heard that from somebody that was there. That would
I saw it, so I can tell you what it. I don't think it was a big deal. I think the main thing was Bruno. He had a Spurger strip in one of his control practice runs, and I think in his second one he didn't have a transponder in. So I think he was in the seeding practice, and I think he was kind of hoping to try to be back in a higher heat because of who he is.
That's not fair
in the end. But I think the ETS guys helped him for one of the control practices, but then because he had an issue in the second one, I was like, well, sorry, like you had two chances. So, but he was still in the C heat, but I know obviously it's still, you don't want to be stuck behind slower people, but he still showed pace with his, the new Infinity car, which is another topic in itself, that it was looking pretty good. I think that was the first race they had with the production version as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they would want to. He wants to have all opportunity to do well with it, right? And especially with his XRAY being there and being a competitor and all that type of stuff. But it's good, and I get it. I think they should have let the main speak for itself. Who won in the end? Who won through?
Well, Orlowski won. So I think it's like 11 ETSs in a row now. He's won. Like back to back, I believe. So it's a pretty strong feat for him. Like he's definitely proving to be, I feel like, more of an on-road specialist now compared to off-road. I don't know if that's just because is on-road getting more popular in temp scale than off-road. This was
maybe in Europe,
a whole other topic in itself. Yeah, in Europe, I think for sure. Especially now at EOS, like there's not so much off-road temp scale racing, as in like big events.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe
to be fair, and I believe I'm sure in USA, 10 scale indoor carpet racing is probably the biggest class out there. I'm sure there's some outdoor doing it as well, but I know you look at the Royal Nationals, it gets the most entries and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest facet of on-road racing going on in the world. I think the only other thing would be Mini Z, who could compete with that. And then it's probably 12 scale. Mini's is huge, dude. Associated dropped that new 128th, and it looks good. It makes me. I love it. I drove Mini Z once, and I love it. But yeah, I guess Orlowski wins no matter what. Like I don't think it would have been a difference. He seems to be really doing quite. I mean, he does well in everything, but he seems to be really flourishing in 10 scale on road, and. The guy's got to go on in as one of the best all-around racers in the world when he's done, hopefully in many, many years from now. That's a conversation for many, many years from now, or maybe in a few years, we'll see. All right. Anything else to add? So you know how it feels to be on the road doing RC stuff. It's different, right? It's work.
Yeah, it's different. It's really brutal because as a driver, you can just show up whenever you want, really, and then go as soon as your race is done. But like from the media side, you got to be there basically a day before to set up and make sure everything's going right, make sure the stream's running smooth. Then you got to be there first thing in the morning for like an hour normally before qualifying, and then you're basically there an hour or two afterwards, like whether you're editing, getting more content, or just preparing. So it's not for everyone, but there's an experience, and it was cool to see another side of it. So. Yeah, good.
It's a grind,
good summer
dude.
So far,
it's a grind.
As Matt would say, this is supposed to be my best summer of my life. So if Matt's watching this, I am still at my door. supposedly waiting to go to the next event with him. It's a joke.
I'll see them in Portugal here in a few weeks' time. Couple of weeks' time, actually. All right. Real quick, I went on a 2-week trip with the Elite RC Productions crew. We went and did Wicked Weekend, which was like the biggest Wicked Weekend ever. It was hot. I was in air conditioned, so I was all right. But it was good. Mason Fuller won his. It was a very interesting weekend of racing. Lots of flame outs and stuff like that, and that's something that Pecco and Max and I are going to go into deep on our review. But then after Wicked Weekend, it was a quick turnaround, and then Lance, myself, and Danny hopped in we toured his camper because Lance has his big camper. We hopped in that and drove 17, 18 hours to Omaha, Nebraska, to the Hobbyplex for the INS round number 4. I have a tour. We have a Elite RC Productions where I did a tour of it. And then I did my own one that I haven't released yet. What an amazing facility. Like huge. The biggest hobby shop I've been into. That place had everything I needed, unfortunately, which meant I spent money there, right? And stuff that I didn't need. So I got a bunch of crawler stuff. It was nothing racing. I bought all crawler stuff. It's huge. Alex Sturgeon, like that's his baby, dude. That guy works hard. He's actually going to come in. He's going to be on my INS recap. So I actually recorded that with him this week as well. Was a good trip. We're going to talk about more of that when I do this podcast. This is all about Euros. We need to get into that as well. And yeah, I think we should just get right into that. And that is brought to you, our next topic, because we have some pre-race talking topics to come on to talk about here. That's brought to you by Hi-Tech RC. Hi-Tech, 2-time European champion now with David Ronnefeld. Congratulations, and their servers and their chargers. Looking for top-tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? Hi-Tech RCD has you covered with industry-leading chargers and servos for both surface and air applications. They also just won the World Championships in boats in Italy as well. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, you should add water as well. Hi-Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high-torque service to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust Hi-Tech to keep you in control. Hi-Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hightechrce.com today. Let them know you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. Thank you, Hi-Tech, for all the support. They actually are a sponsor of the NNRC content coming from the E-Buggy World Championships in a couple weeks. All right, so this race took place July 28th to August 2nd at Trenčín, Slovakia. Some of the pre-race talking points were we were back at Hudi Arena. When we talk about facilities, this is one of the most beautiful facilities or the best facility in the world, RC facility. You have a walkabout of it coming out?
Well, yeah, through RCTV, we did a big factory tour and just general tour of the place. So make sure to stay tuned when that comes out. I'm not sure when it comes out, but keep an eye on the RCTV channel. It'll be out.
So back to this race where we had the 2019 World Championships. And I guess we're going to go over some of the talking points. Hudi tires. XRAY refused to sell four-wheel drive fronts until two-wheel drive finishes. Bear and top XRAY drivers on four-wheel drive front tire. Important topic that we have to talk about in this podcast, so don't forget that. And similar track layouts to warm up, bigger than, and apparently this is the big complaint, that it was a big disadvantage if you didn't go to the warm up for the Euros as well. So, and then of course, and on our other note, you say that the track was very similar to how it was in 2019, I believe. So I'm going to bring up
the layout itself was similar, not the track conditions or grip, but yeah,
I agree.
Basically, same layout basically.
I heard this at INS too from the guys there. They were like, it's the same layout from 2019, but it was a glue track this year. And I think this is the first time I've seen a glue track in Europe. I could be wrong. There could be others, but there we go. It looks like wood for some reason, dude. It looks like? Sorry. It looks like
no, go on. It does not look anything like Works Up. It's it almost feels like there's 5 mil worth of just glue on top of the track. there's like it's not abrasive at all. It feels super smooth. Like imagine like PVA glue or like Elmer's glue with like a little bit of water or something. It's just basically what it feels like. It's not
Oh, that's what it
sticky to the
is.
touch at all. It feels like quite not slippy, but I guess you could say slippy like to the touch. But I was expecting it to be like glue. Like literally.
Really?
Yeah, but maybe that's just me. But
So was it like Barcelos? Because Barcelos is glue, Elmer's glue.
no, because Barcelos is if it
Oh.
literally feels like sandpaper. Like it hasn't got like a glued surface. It's like it's because I believe it's like I might be wrong here, but the dirt itself is like kind of made from like I said like a glue mixture with dirt or something like that. But this was like dirt, literally just with glue smacked on top of it.
Well, that's what they
It's
do
basically-
at Barcelos as well. But this, I think what happens is maybe it's just a different aggregate. This is obviously very fine and dusty as well, and it's indoors, so maybe that makes a big difference as well. This is I've now we have glue tracks in the USA that endorse Coyote Hobbies, Hoosier Hobby Plex. I heard Mike's done in 8-scale track down in Texas just glued their track too, but all under a roof. So this is the first time I've seen this under a roof. And what was your experience on it as the first time? This is your first time driving on any type of track like this?
Well, I think SDRC is glued, right?
No,
I've been there.
no,
Oh, it's not glued.
no, it's not glued.
Ah, okay. Well, what's that other track? What's the track called? The one in
Mimi's? It's not glued either.
Mimi's. That's not glued. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess you could say this is my first glued track experience, but it wasn't high grip like I was expecting. In the videos, it looks really high. It looks really high grip or like pretty decent grip, but it's actually not really that high grip at all. It's a really cool experience though. Like it definitely wasn't the same grip as because I was at the Worlds in 2019, so it wasn't that low grip at all, but it was still like pretty low grip. But it was more grip where like you could clear the tabletop, you could clear the quad. So, but like it was actually going through tires quite quickly. So
Really?
going through tires quite quick. Yeah, like most guys are doing like max a run, maybe 2 runs. Like
So
which is weird. Like, and these tires are coming off like you can see even after one run, like there's already a lot of wear, like even bald in some spots.
I'm not surprised at that. But it's weird that there was so I remember 2019 was very loose. I mean, the cars looked like they were gonna slide out at any time. It was a whole different surface there. Glue track, though, is supposed to be. I heard guys in the walkabout I was listening to earlier, they're talking about the grip not being there and stuff like that. So it's a little bit weird that it isn't, because usually it is. Well, maybe indoors on 10 scale is a little different. I know at Hoosier, they constantly, like Eddie is always like in between like races and stuff. Maybe not in between races, but at night is still spraying glue and all that type of stuff. I think the glue track that I raced on once in Florida last year might have been similar. It had traction, but it didn't in certain spots. Did it develop any dust on the outside line or anything like that?
Yeah, but it was pretty minimal. And then between every run, like people were like sweeping the track, so it was pretty. In terms of the dust, it was pretty good. But I stayed an extra day because I was doing some RCTV stuff. But I was lucky enough to have the whole track to myself just to practice on. But yeah, I mean, it was even worse the next day in terms of grip level. So I don't know if that was because of the dust. Yeah, but I think that's because of the dust. Because once I went out there and swept the track a little bit, it was better. So maybe I guess
maybe they didn't put enough glue on it.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of glue on it, which is weird. But I spoke to Yona and Michael after the warm up, and they said that after like the first day, the track like went way lower. Like it started off quite high, and then it went lower. But I don't feel like we had this Euros, or I didn't notice it as much. Like where the track kind of stayed. I feel like the grip itself kind of stayed similar, but then it was also like developing every time we went on the track. I guess so.
And the
it was
tire
a different feel every time we went out.
All right, and so the spec tire was a pin tire, correct?
No, it was like a hoodie bar tire style of tire. I actually, I have it literally here.
You do?
I do. So these were don't know how you can see, but these
Okay.
they're kind of like a Proline Positron. I guess is the best comparison.
How many
And
runs
then-
does those tires have on it?
That's had one run.
Ooh.
So these are actually okay, but you can see after. You guys have to go on YouTube to see this, but I don't know how you can see that.
I can see it.
Yeah, that was after one run. But I think these would have been okay for one more run, but the top guys were doing at least one run, maybe two runs. Some guys were opting for second run tires were better, but the general consensus was no more than two runs on a tire.
Okay. So high tire wear, and it's weird because some glue tracks you can get away with running bald-ish tires, right? But I'm also thinking of nitro, right? And it's going to be interesting to see how this all facilitates at Barcelos in end of August, end of this month, because there won't be no nitro cars running on there. And it's gonna be interesting to see. But I guess 10 scale, you kind of have to continuously put on that glue, like kind of how they do it at Hoosier. I don't know. I have no experience on a glue track on indoor surfaces. So if you're listening to this, if you've been to Hoosier, been to Coyote, hobbies there in California, let us know what you think about that. And all right, well, let's get into the same layout nearly as 2019 Worlds. What was different about this layout?
So the left section, I think, was a little bit different from 2019. I think 2019, you didn't go all the way down to the bottom left corner. I think you kind of stopped halfway down that short straight, and then you did a 180. But at this time, you went all the way. You did a triple at the back left, and then you did the left-hand corner, and then you went straight all the way down. Well, in 2019, you only went a little bit down, for what I remember.
So aren't they supposed to change the layout like significantly in between this, or did they consider that the glue surface was the change of layout?
I'll say I think I don't think there was any rule to change it, but I think from a driver's standpoint, it was a completely different feel. So nothing from 2019 helped, if that makes sense. Maybe the fact I kind of knew some of the lines, but again, because the grip was different, it didn't really help. Maybe I could argue I had a little bit more confidence because I'd been there before, but it was just different in every way. But I think someone did ask the Hoodie guys about it, but I think for them, they don't have the actual equipment to change the track. And I think for how often they run on that track, I guess they just couldn't justify it. I mean, I personally would have definitely loved to see a new layout, and I think that would have been great, but I don't know their full reason for it, but I definitely think they should have had a new one for the Euros at least.
Well, let's have a look at the old layout. I have that up here. Well, sorry, the 2019 layout, and we'll compare it to this one. So I also heard a lot of, I don't know if we should get into the he said stuff, but I heard Marcus say it on that, and he goes, let's be honest, 2019, there was a lot of noise about XRAY. No, there was fact. There was actually 231 laps turned on that track prior to the Worlds. Was it the World? I believe it was the World.
No, I'm sure the 231 thing was from EOS.
No.
I'm sure, because I remember being at that EOS. I remember Scotty.
No, this was about the Worlds. This is about the Worlds, because I remember there was a whole bunch of kerfuffle about this. Could be wrong. Anyway, anywho, whatever race it was, and this is no offense to the XRAY people, so don't get mad. There has been accusations or proof prior to this of XRAY drivers running on the track, right? Prior to a big, it was either Euros or Worlds. Somebody will correct us in there, but I'm pretty sure. I wish Max was here because he would know that. He would know those type of facts. I'm too old to remember that, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those two races, and somebody will probably chime in here. And I'm just bringing up a random video, random stream from this of the layout on 2-wheel drive, and we'll add it to the screen here. And there we go. You can see how different. It's so much different.
This thing about so many memories, because this was so much looser. But there was also in 2019, you missed it there, but there was a few concrete corners.
I saw that
to kind of help with the grip. But this time it was just complete dirt. So you'll actually see it when Tebow's going over this triple now. The start straight here, that grey bit, that was concrete back in 2019, but that wasn't, and here as well, that wasn't the case though this time
Dude,
around.
this is the same track, almost.
Dirt. Yeah, I mean, I get where people are coming from about it, and I definitely agree with it, but I think like the surface itself was so much different. Like, I don't think it really, like, I guess, kind of mattered. I don't mean that as in like those guys, like, it was fine or whatever, but I think it's more like track was different enough, so like no one was gaining an advantage, I think, for that went to 2019 or whatever.
All right. Well, that was just pure coincidence that I brought that up on Jared Tebow, by the way. I did not plan on doing that. Let's bring up a look. I want to have a look at the track now with what it looked like with the glue track. And this is from RC Racing TV. And we'll just, there's an ad, so we'll let that go by. I know people's going to say, you should get YouTube Premium or you should do this. But guess what? I can't get it. Although there will be a whole discussion in an RC Discord about what I can use to avoid this. But let's put it up and we'll go from here. So here we go. That same quad was there. This same section was here. This is 2-wheel drive. Now they did change the track up for 4-wheel drive. Dude, this is the exact same track. This is the exact same track. Let's see. Okay. It's some differences.
Like here, so you go all the way down instead of like you did a short shoot.
All right. So
but
that
I mean,
quad.
Yeah, but you can clear the quad. So that was quite. I don't know, maybe because I've been to 2019, I actually kind of didn't mind that it was the same layout, but maybe that was just because I thought that was an advantage for myself. And I also, I mean, it was a really fun layout to drive on, but I also think it would have been really cool if these guys like dug it up and made a completely brand new layout. But
I thought they were, and that's why when I was talking to the guys at INS, they're like, "It's the same layout." I was like, "No way, they dug it all up." No, they didn't. They just resurfaced it, apparently. But anyway, same layout for this similar layout. Sorry, not same. Let me not say same. You have it. It was very open but difficult. It's a big 10 scale track.
Yeah, like I kind of felt like it was way more competitive than what the world was. And bear in mind, this is me after having 6 years or, more experience in racing. It felt way more competitive. I felt like in 2019, you were kind of just trying to get around the track. But this time, because you had the grip, you were kind of able to push a lot more. And I think this kind of comes back to, this also comes to our next point, is where like the guys that went to the warm-up had a way bigger advantage compared to the guys that didn't go to the warm-up or didn't practice at all. Because it's such a wide track, like you just need like almost a few days just to get the confidence to push in certain areas because of the depth perception of some corners with how big it is. So, but I think if you did the warm-up, and because the track layouts were kind of similar, or some sections were used from the warm-up and the actual event, I think that was a massive part of it. So if you didn't go, I think it was a really big struggle. Myself, I felt like I struggled quite a lot, but I mean, so did a lot of people as well. So I think
was it glued
the key
for
was
the
to go
warm-up?
to the warm-up. Yeah, it was glued for the warm-up as well. So apparently it had more grip than the warm-up, but maybe that's just because there's more guys there, or maybe I don't know if they did or not. I'm not right with this, but maybe they tried a different glue, or like they did a different track prep because I don't know if they glued it after every day. I know they glued patches, but I wasn't sure if that was just they were just fixing certain holes in the track or whatever. But I didn't see them, for example, go around the entire track and glue it, or unless I didn't see it.
Okay, that was my next question: was did they do any track maintenance to it? And you said they just patched stuff, so they probably patched where there were holes developing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, they were patching big areas, so I don't know if maybe the areas where they thought it was lower grip, they were doing that. But
okay.
I don't think that's anything to look into. Like,
no, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking out loud. All right. Well, let us know what you think of the track. I know some people are going to chime in and let's not offer this and that and that. But I'll tell you what, that looks a lot more fun to drive on than driving around on eggshells like in 2019, where you think
No,
you're gonna.
they were so much more fun. And it wasn't that high grip like what everyone thinks. So
Mhm.
it was actually quite low grip, or like running at 4.5 degrees of toe, like on the rear, and really soft suspension setups and short wheelbase and everything. So, but it was a really fun track. Honestly, it was really fun. When you got it right, it was really fun. But when you crashed, you really wanted to lob your transmitter into the ground.
Most people, I think that's how it is when you go to most races. All right, well, let's get into some qualifying. And before we do that, I'd like to say a big shout out to Techno RC for all their continued support.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
That's right. Thank you, Techno, for all your continued support. So how this works in the Euros is unlike the USA, where they have the stock classes and two-wheel drive and all that stuff. And I believe they run them all together, right? So you run you run all your classes. You will run two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive on the same track. In Europe and at the Worlds, you run the first leg, which is two-wheel drive, and then I think it's like 3 days, and then they make a slight track change, and then you run four-wheel drive. So it's not you're running two-wheel drive for 3 days, you stop. It's a slight track change in the track. I actually preferred the four-wheel drive layout, I think, and I say a layout. It was just a change of some corners. It wasn't a complete layout change, but there's a difference. And then you do 3 days of four-wheel drive, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So basically what you said there.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into two-wheel drive. This is XRAY's home turf, and Martin Bayer came out swinging. He was TQ of two-wheel drive, followed by Orlowski and Ronnefeldt. And there were 4 different drivers with TQ run. There was Bayer, Orlowski, Ronnefeldt, and Jorn No Hat Newman in the new two-wheel drive S-Works car, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. And then it was Bayer's last TQ in the last round to get overall, and Ronnefeldt lined up second. There are no bump ups, so the only top 10 go through. But well done to Martin Bayer, right? He's like doing it for the older guys. I don't think he's 40 yet. But if you would have told me, I don't know why I'm surprised at this, but I was actually shocked that Bayer TQ'd, and we might as well say he won, because he did win. But it was a surprise that he won. But when I watched his racing, I was like, man, he drove really well.
Yeah, because I think the last time he won was like in 2012, when it was at, I'm gonna butcher the name, but via the lead. Actually, where the e-buggy Euros was this year. Okay, so that was the last time he won. Yeah, I think ever since then he's kind of taken more of a development role, which he has obviously, instead of kind of being just focused as a racer, for example, like what Bruno was. So I know, like, I think there's a double-edged sword to this, because I know everyone's going to say, he's practiced there and he's probably done the layout and he's probably, and he's designed the bloody cars and the tires. But like, he's still got to do it at the end of the day. Like, and I kind of, anyone in his position, I feel that would be stupid not to do the same. So I feel like while people might give him a lot of stick for, like, maybe driving the layout, being on that track before, design the tire, design the car, and whatever. If you was him in his shoes, you'd probably do the same. So
yeah, he still had to drive it.
Yeah, and he still had to drive it. I think I overheard. I can't remember who told me, but he said to one of his teammates, like, he knew he was basically gonna butcher it, or he said something along the lines of that. But to be fair, he kept it together. I think I don't know which one he screwed up in. But
it was A2.
It was A2 in the yeah, that's it. Yeah, in A2. So yeah, I mean, fair play to him. Like, full respect for him.
Well, behind them in qualifying was Jorn with a TQ run with the new S-Works. Good for them. They've kind of needed a new two-wheel drive for some time. Una Hotnen, now living in Germany. I forget. You know what? I don't know why, because I like Una a lot. I don't know what he's like. Really fast. Like I don't know why I'm surprised when he's fast, because I know he's fast, right? But he's very quiet. You don't hear much about him. But Una Hutton has been super fast for many years. He went 2-2 and he lines up 6, super close. It was, he was there. He was also a big factor in the mains as well. And another young man, the other young Polish superstar, Bartosz Zaleski. I hope I said that right.
Zaleski, I think is how they say it.
Zaleski was very fast and had some good runs. Some other notable performance was Joao Figueiredo, who doesn't run much 10 scale. He made the main. Killick in the Mugen making the main. And you have Skidmore. So Johnny was there and maybe not making the main, but qualifying 13th overall is pretty good for him. And I think just going through here, drivers out of place. Kovacic, I would expect Kovacic to be in the main. Widmeyer is hit and miss, right? I expect him to be in the main, but I'm not surprised when he isn't. He was BQ. And Clement Boda, who is kind of reinvented himself as he's been a 10 scale driver, but he did really well at the Euros and the e-buggy Euros. He's in 17th. He's on the associated car, I do believe. And yeah, so those guys are out of it. So obviously Skidmore, Kovacic, Widmeyer, Boda, all out of it. They don't make the final. Unfortunate for them. Kovacic, I think, is the biggest surprise out of those guys for me.
Yeah, because I know he practiced a lot with Michael at the warm-up, and I think they even went back again. So I guess, he just couldn't. It just is what it is. I think he had a lot of people were making mistakes. Like, you really had to go clean on that track. If you had one crash, and because it's such a big track, it takes you like 3-4 seconds just to get marshaled. Sometimes even more. So, you crash once and that's it. So, yeah, like it was kind of the same thing for Una. Like, Una was super quick. And I really thought he was going to win at one point, to be fair.
Me too.
But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. I think he had a few mistakes in qualifying, but it showed how competitive because both him and Zaleski had 2 seconds in rounds and lined up 5th and 6th, which normally, a 2 and a 2 would be at least top 3. So it showed you how competitive because 4 guys got a TQ run.
Remind me to talk about that in the 4-wheel drive because Zaleski was off the podium, if I'm not mistaken, and he could have been on the podium, but it would have been some team orders, if I remember correctly. All right, let's get into the A final. The top 3 overall was Bayer, Ronnefalk, and Hotman. Ronnefalk took the win in leg 1, and this is an interesting topic. You brought up her that Bayer tried to cut the track. I have it here, and well, I shouldn't say he tried to cut the track. He jumped. Yeah, well, he cut the track, right? But I think it was more just trying to race, but we'll see it here in a second. There's Bayer in front of me, makes that little mistake, and he just whoop. I just think he wasn't lined up properly. Like you can see, I'm not trying to make excuses for it, but he was pointed that direction.
Yeah, to be fair,
when he went up the jump.
I kind of look at it.
Look at his wheels.
Yeah, because even when you look at it there, he looks like he would hit on a pipe. It doesn't look like he was gonna, unless just the camera showed a weird angle.
Probably better that he did cut the track and not hit the pipe, right? He did slam on the brakes, let Ronnefalk through. So no harm, no foul.
It looks like he did pause for a second looking at the video.
He did. Let's see.
You can see. Okay, we'll let this play, but so I think that was obviously to avoid a penalty, so he didn't gain an advantage. Yeah, you can see there he waited. There was no way he was trying to just wait for the car to get grip. He just looked like he purposely stopped to kind of make sure he didn't get penalized.
Yeah, I think I don't see no harm with that. I don't think he did it on purpose. Even if he would have gotten an advantage of that, it probably would have been called. It would have been called back anyway. So I don't. No big deal for that. So he did lose A1. Sorry, we was talking about it. He lost A1. A2 takes the win from lights to flag in A2, and that was, you can see he was kind of emotional after that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of back to everything I was saying, where like, I guess you could say that's probably his home track. I know he lives. I know he's from the Czech Republic, but I don't know if he actually lives in the Czech Republic or if he's in Slovakia. But either way, so you can imagine, home turf, I guess you could say, where he works with his family around and his team. Yeah, I don't blame the guy for, being absolutely ecstatic, like, even just to win a Euros anywhere. But you can see as well in a 12-year hiatus, I guess you could say maybe more. Yeah, he really showed that he was really happy to win that. And there was some big like chanting in the pits as well, like especially with XRAY winning, you could see like it was, we all knew for sure. But obviously, congratulations to them, obviously.
Yeah, Jorn Newman finished 10th in that A2. Unfortunately, here we go. Here's Ronald Falk. We'll bring it up so we can see it. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, XRAY wants to win, and it was Byron. It was. Let's just go back. I wanted to see who the finish on. So at A2 was Martin Beyer, Ronald Falk, Unahat, and Boric Killick. Yal Figueredo, still good run for him. Bartosz Zaleski, Mikhail Lowski, not having a good run. Ongaro, Marcus Karap. Marcus Karap had a quiet Euros. I was expecting more from him. And then Jorn Newman. But here's the celebration. Ronald Falk over there. I think that's Bayer's wife. Here's Burak, Una, the Iceman stare. And he looks relieved, like, whew, I got that done. I don't see in all of this. Where's Max Gotzel?
That's a good question. Unless he was marshalling, but it's normally international. Oh,
somebody's going to complain. There was an ad.
I think maybe he was marshalling, but I feel like no, it's international marshals. So I don't know.
What do you mean international marshals? Sorry.
So if anyone that knows, for the A mains, A finals for Worlds and Euros, the B final don't marshal them, is international marshals. So it's up to the team managers of all the countries to decide someone from their nation to marshal all those finals.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Let's bring it up to the start of A3 here, which already started. And Bayer goes, and that is Arlovsky right behind him, Ronafalk, and Newman. And you can see right away, Ronafalk is hounding the rear end of Arlovsky.
Yeah, a bit of a Ronafalk definitely had some killer pace in these finals, especially to win A1. A little bit gutting for Michael. It looks like I thought he was going to have a good chance. And that was another bit about that quad section, because you were landing straight into an apex. If you didn't land in the right place, or if you underjumped it or even overjumped it, you just saw then you just lose a spot straight away like that.
Oof, Ronafalk made a good pass and threw it all away right there. But if I'm not mistaken, he actually climbed back up, and because he finished second overall, and I think he was very happy with that. Safe to say, I think Ronafalk's got his mojo back, and like Austin Powers would say, "Yeah, baby." That is a. So I think right now, Bayer knows he's got this. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna pull away and take this win and become a two-wheel drive champion at home for him at his home track, and 12, 13 years after his last European championship. I think it's a great story. I think it's great for Bayer. I don't think he's ever stopped being fast, but when you fall into that role of being more of a mechanic, developing driver, stuff like that. We saw him at Carpet Championships. He'll come and run stock as well. So, he's kind of fell back into that back role. Yes, he still races, but he's more there to probably do testing and stuff for other drivers. So it's good for him. He looked like he needed that victory as well. Probably got a good bonus as well. And good stuff.
I wonder if he still gets a race bonus for that.
He should. I mean, he should get some contingency. I'm sure he still runs the Alceram stuff, right? I think. So
yeah, he runs the Alceram Speedos. Because I think he's quite close with the guys that
very nice
make
people.
It. So yeah, I actually haven't spoken to them, but they seem like very nice guys, and I think the Alceram stuff looks really good. I wonder how long it is until other companies catch on and put a screen in their Speedos.
I know. Their 8 scale, sir. I saw their 8 scale ESCA Wicket. Looks really good. All right. Some of your talking points are mistakes from Orlowski. That's your boy. Making uncharacteristic mistakes at this type of race. He doesn't make many.
No, he doesn't. It was really uncharacteristic for him because, like at the start of the finals, he looked like, I think Bayer always edged out on the first lap or two, but he always seemed to kind of come right back up. But yeah, just mistakes for Michael are really big gutting for him because I know he's kind of like, I feel like he's on the Ongaro and Temska. He's always had bad luck with Euros, even though he has won 2 European Championships now. I always feel like he always has just, maybe it's 3 now, but he's always had a lot of like bad luck at Euros, whether it's other people or him or a mixture of both. So yeah, some unforced errors for Michael there, but yeah, bit of a shame.
And then we have Hotnen with a finishes on the podium, but Hotnen wants to win this, right? And he can win this, but he kind of has some moments where he makes mistakes, right? Or he did have that pass where he went wide in 4-wheel drive where Ronafal got by him. We'll talk about that on Ronafal's corner. But Hotman's so close, but yet so far. And he's been doing this for quite a while. Still a young racer, still got time. But yeah, would love to see Hotman. I like I would love to see him in this, and I'm sure all of Finland would love to see him in it. Ongaro finishes 5th. I don't expect Ongaro to do much at these races because I shouldn't say I don't expect him. He probably the first time he's touched a 10 scale car all year, But to finish 5th and to do well at this type of race, very good result for him. Now, in the 2019 rounds, it was a good battle with him in, I think it was 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive. I can't remember. Now, Killick, he races a little bit more 10 scale, and I think it's a solid run for him. He would want to win, but obviously 10 scale is not his primary race focus as well.
Yeah, like BRCA, obviously his main class is 8 scale, like anyone knows. But I think the last big race he did was at EOS earlier this year. But I don't think he made the main at EOS and 2-wheel drive. But I think as well, like maybe that 2-wheel was actually a little bit of a underdog in a way because you don't see many people running it. I don't know why. It doesn't look like a bad car at all. But it's obviously good for him to get into the main. Oh yeah, carry on. Go on.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
No, I was just going to say, like, it looks like a good car. It reminds me, looks like a TLR, which kind of made me think it maybe would be like one. And Shin made it as well. Dachi, who used to design the Yokomo cars. So I feel like that having him behind the designing of that means it's got to be a good car. But it'd be cool if maybe now that we'll obviously get to this bit as well, that there is a 4-wheel coming. So I wonder if they have maybe some dedicated 10 scale guys maybe they'll bring on. That'll be kind of be interesting for the future. Because I feel like if they had a bit of a 10 scale team, then I think that Mugen car, they could get a lot more potential out of it.
Well, I think that I've had this discussion before, and I think I talked about it on one of the podcasts before, is that they came out with the car and they did nothing after that. Like, Adam Drake went to the Worlds in 2023 and then there was nothing after that. And the only person on any level, any good level that's been competing with it is BRCA and BRCA races 10 scale, but you need that over in the USA. I was having this chat with Alex Sturgeon because he runs Mugen as well. He runs Mugen. He's not sponsored, but he runs a mix of different cars and he has a TLR. He was running between his Mugen and his TLR, and I was like, yeah, just no real following. Lots of hype. There's a lot of hype about the car, and I think they've taken quite a long time to develop the 4-wheel drive, which we're going to talk about her shortly. Is 4-wheel drive. I'm just looking for the overall results for 2-wheel drive. Give me your final thoughts on 2-wheel drive while I do that.
Yeah, I guess like closing down, like I guess some people you could kind of say it was a bit of a shock that Bayer won. I think a lot of people expected him to win, but I think also people realized that he probably, I guess people maybe didn't think he was going to hold off in the finals just because I guess you could say he's seen more as a designer, I guess, as a team manager more than like a top end driver. One thing I was going to say, I was like, I wonder what it would be like if Bruno was here running X-Ray still. Do you think he would have won that straight away, or do you think it would have been the same thing? I kind of think that would have been an interesting one.
It's weird not seeing Bruno at these races, right? Really weird.
It does because you feel like if you're going to put EOS this year, like if Bruno was there, would it be like one 4-wheel? But I guess in some ways I guess how I could say it in a nice way, like because Bruno always seems to win everything, so it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of nice now. Everything's a bit more wide open, especially with like example this Euros, and then like EOS where like BRCA won 4-wheel. That was like really unexpected. So
I guess my question to that would be: would you mean would Bruno with XRAY or Bruno with Infinity and running some other?
no with XRAY. No, I think with XRAY because obviously
I think if
like
so. Here's my thoughts on that. I think that, and I've said this before. I think that when XRAY does something, when they were doing something and Bruno was involved, everything was focused on Bruno, right? So all the focus would have been on Bruno, probably David, and Bayer would have been working more for that than this. I think if Bruno with XRAY, yes, definitely could win this. Not saying that he couldn't win it any other time. Bruno running another car that he's never run and not having that whole factory support that he kind of has with XRAY would be a kind of a different story, I think. Still could possibly win. Still could win, but I think it's more of a secure thing with XRAY because you just have so much more input coming in. And it seemed like the whole team worked towards Bruno winning, right? So that's what it seemed to me. Like Bayer would, especially in 8 scale, Bayer would be doing a lot of his work on his car and doing all that type of stuff, testing things for him. So maybe a new lease on life for people in XRAY. As with Bruno going out, obviously I believe David steps up to that overall number 1 driver. And yeah, I think it was impressive. I don't, if you'd have told me Martin Bayer would have won this, I'd have been like, shut the fuck up. No way. Like, not counting out that he isn't a good racer, but just wouldn't have expected him to win this. But he did. And congratulations to him. And to all the naysayers out there who are talking shit about it. Dude, the guy's, he's not won a European championship before, right? It's not like the guy can't drive. Everything lined up for him that day, and he won, and he drove well, and he held off a very hard charging. He didn't win it in 2. He won it, and he had to go to an A3. So congratulations to Bayer, man. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like, I still think even though he might have had all the prep in the world and maybe like some track knowledge as well, like he still had to go and do it. I think maybe it would have been a bit different if he was like a Bruno, where obviously someone like Bruno probably would have gone and tested whether on that, maybe not on that exact layout, or maybe he would have, or whatever. Like, you would have been like, oh yeah, Bruno's going to win that piece of piss. But I think because it was Bayer, it kind of made it a little bit interesting because people didn't know if he was still going to be able to, to lead those A finals. Because I'm sure, like, I mean, I'm definitely not a those A finalist, but I know leading any finals hard. And I can imagine being him with all the pressure, or his family there, the whole XRAY team. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and for him to like win it, I honestly, like, completely fair enough, and obviously full respect to him.
Here's the big question, though, Will. Where did you finish in 2-wheel drive?
Oh man, I was nowhere. I think I finished like 62nd in the end. I was balancing a lot of media stuff at the same time, also doing my vlog. I know I'm going to make every excuse in the book, but honestly, it was just hard. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was really hard. I really struggled to kind of get the grip to the track. I kind of wish I went to the warm-up, but that's like a whole expense in itself. But it was like from a driver side, it was a really good event. Like every time I've been to the Hoodie Arena, it's always been, a fantastic event. And just to go around and see that factory and the facility is just worth it in itself.
All right. Well, as I try to find the overall results, I believe it was on my RCM. Let's progress into 4-wheel drive. But before we do that, we have to pay some bills. And I want to say a big thank you to Side Piece Racing for all that continued support. Elevate your experience with SidePieceRacing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top-tier brands like Awesomatics, Roche, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsa-Tech, Phoenix Racing, and Wheel Speed. Whether you're seeking precision-engineered car kits, high-performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, we've got you covered. Enjoy fast shipping, exceptional customer service, ensuring that you get the best gear when you need it. Visit SidePieceRacing.com today and race ahead of the competition. Also, shout out to Laterra Racing, our friends Kim and Martin. Step up your racing with Laterra Racing, one of Sweden's premier hobby shop and track, dedicated to racers, featuring top brands like XRAY, Hobby Ring, Zoo Racing, and Team Coyote. They provide everything you need from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you are on the track, upgrading your setup, Latera Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latera.se or stop by their shop and track for the ultimate RC experience. Latera Racing, built for winners. All right, four-wheel drive. So I'll let you take the lead on this. I'm still trying to find overall results. Go ahead.
I've sent you the results, by the way.
Okay.
So you can see it on there. Cool. But yeah, I guess we'll get into four-wheel drive. So again, it was actually Martin Bayer that was on pole in the end, but he didn't have it as easy this time. Well, actually, I guess you could say he had it slightly easy because he had Orlowski, which him and Orlowski had 2 TQs each. I think Bayer had the faster time in the end, so he was on pole. Orlowski second. And then I believe it was Ronnefolk lining up third. Oh no, it was actually Zelensky was on third. My bad. But I feel like it was mainly a Bayer and Orlowski show, to be honest with you. I think Ronnefolk was always there and thereabouts, but I don't think he had the same pace like he did in two-wheel drive in qualifying. Yona looks really quick as well. Like he's really proving. Like I know a lot of guys are a little bit worried about the new 84 platform, but it looks like he's really got it dialed in. So, but qualifying was kind of less exciting compared to two-wheel, just because there was more guys that, well, there was only those 2 guys that really TQ'd rounds, and to be fair as well, Bartos got TQ in the final round. I guess a lot of guys like kind of think he's just more of a carpet specialist, but I guess now you can kind of put that theory to rest because he's done it on dirt as well.
Bartos is special, man. I think he's got something pretty good. I think he's going to be a one to watch in the future here, and I look forward to seeing him do some more racing. We're watching A1, leg 1 of the final. That you can see where they changed the track up a little bit, and so you got a longer straightaway. Man, those cars were flying on that straightaway.
Yeah, like I think a lot of guys might have even had like 5.5 turn motors in their cars just because the straightaway was so big. Because like one thing I learned when I went to America was like power settings, and so I was like thinking, oh, I'll just make my car really slow and like giving no power. But it seemed like on this track you can get away with a lot more power than like maybe what, like for example, what I ran or what some guys would run in clay in the States. So, but yeah, that straight is once you're ripping when you're going down there for sure.
And it has her at the end, just before the corner, like it looks like a little dip and then jump, like you go down and then up. And I could see that upsetting the cars at that pace. Like you had to brake before, in between, and then it was madness, man. It was.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't actually that bad. You could keep it pinned. Like you just see the front coming up a little bit, and that was really it. So, although on camera it looks like you have to brake or whatever, it wasn't really. To be honest, I even forgot it was there, to be honest.
It looks so much faster. It looks so much faster than two-wheel drive. So send me that link for the overalls. All right. So when you get a chance. So going into this, it was qualifiers. It was Berolowski, Zaleski, your top 3. And like you said, Yuno was showing pace with the new B84. Killick lined up 8th with the new Mugen. So is this a real new Mugen, or is this like a prototype almost Mugen?
No, it looks like a full, basically near production car. So I mean, there was I think we posted a photo of BRCA, they had a body on, but I mean I was able to have a cheeky look inside, but yeah, it looked fairly like, production ready. So, but it looked really good in the hands of BRCA. It's actually quite funny because BRCA was running a slipper for most of it because I think he was having some issues with stripping spur gears. So I think in the rounds he got top 10 runs. He was running a slipper. So
really?
I think that was that was kind of cool because I guess that kind of showed like Burak, some of Burak's talent there. But I think he did end up getting a diff in there for the finals. And I think funny enough, I don't know I can't remember how his finals went, but I think he was towards the back anyway. But obviously even just to get that car into the main. He's the only guy running that car, obviously, as well. He didn't have any mechanics there. I think he had Fabian Widmeyer helping out. He's a old Yokomo teammate of his. But yeah, I think Burak's basically on his own with that. So I think that's like another kind of point in Burak's favour for there. But Yeah, I think it'll be really cool to see when it comes out. It looks like there's a few guys here with prototype cars, including Michael. So I'm sure we'll
We're
get
going to talk
onto
about
that
that.
bit in a. Yeah, we're going to talk about that as well. So,
Ongaro lined up 9th. Marcus, I'm sorry, I like Marcus, but I think this is a very disappointing Euros for him. We'll talk about that in a bit. And drivers out of place. You have Lee Martin BQ. I don't really think that's out of place. Maybe that a little bit of nostalgia there for you, Lee. For you there, Will.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought Lee. I was watching his final run, and honestly, he felt. I don't know if he went to the warm up, which is the thing as well. So he went straight into there, and I know he was fairly close in 2-wheel. I don't think it was BQ in 2-wheel, but at least he was like there and thereabouts. But 4-wheel, I really thought he was going to have a good shot, and yeah, I think for me, kind of a bit reminiscing of Lee from the good old days. But for him to be BQ. A bit disappointing because we didn't have any Brits in the A final this time, so big gutting.
And then Jorn, not a very good run in 4-wheel drive, not a 19th. He wouldn't be happy with that. And Clement Buddha, while improving, still not in the A final. He is in 17th. All right. I think we should go into the finals because this was some exciting finals. I think this was the most exciting finals. It came down to another A3. Orlowski in A1, he took the win with Zaleski, Ranafalk super very close behind him. I think that was kind of like the quietest of these finals. Bayer made some mistakes over the quad, so maybe run us through A1 a little bit from your thoughts. I'll put it up here on stage.
Yes, I think. So A1 Bayer was he started on pole, but I think he clipped the quad, I think, or landed on the pipe and flipped over, and then Michael kind of capitalized on that and then continued going on for the rest of the race. But he didn't pull away, Michael. It seemed like every time Michael was in the lead, he wasn't able to pull away. He kind of was just keeping the guys behind him. But it was pretty thrilling to watch because, he was for 4 minutes straight, just had a whole freight train behind him. Then there's a lot of pressure for someone like him to deal with. Not that he's done it before. So yeah, he managed to take A1, and you can see he's pretty happy there. I think he was pretty happy as well because he went over to redeem himself on 2-wheel.
More people gonna get triggered over those ads. You know what? I'm gonna figure out how to not have ads. Everybody, I'm sorry.
There you go. But I think Michael was happy to redeem himself, and especially he's got a new car as well. I think anyone that they were running a prototype car probably was definitely wants to make a statement and probably win. So I think that was a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the win, but obviously we'll go into A3 because that's a whole topic in itself, especially the last 20 seconds. So yeah, that's kind of how leg 1 kind of finished up.
Yeah. So A2, we had Bayer, who took the win. I'm waiting for the controversial move. So Bayer got out front and took this. We're watching. Actually, let me put it up right here. So we're about 35 seconds into A2. It looks like Bayer's just kind of checking out. You can see he's starting to gap Orlowski here. You don't want to know what I think, and I no disrespect to Orlowski. I just don't think he had the pace of the XRAY drivers. I think Bayer is just looking really good out there right now.
Yeah, I think the best way to kind of explain it, at least from my side, was the XRAY. Bayer didn't have to push, but I think Michael had to push. At least that's my observation. Even Ronafalk, it looks like he was pushing for sure, but I think when he pushed, he had just more pace than what the other guys did, especially Michael. But then Michael starts to crawl in until he makes I don't think he makes a mistake. It's when David gets past him.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Bayer takes the win in leg 2. I don't think he had any big errors. But and then David got second, and I think Orlowski got third. So I guess we can. I'm waiting for the move to come up so we can kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here.
I have a feeling it happens with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, let's go. We got a minute and a half to go, so it might be here. Let's see. Is Bill right? It looks like he could be right. They're actually very close. They're actually bunched up. So that's Bayer, Orlowski, and Ronafalk right behind him. Nope, not that lap.
It must be the next. Nope, must be the next one.
All right. Well, okay. So I said Orlowski doesn't have pace, but I'm actually looking at it now. He's right behind Bayer. So he did come on into the third leg of this race. And he is right hounding the rear end of. Ooh, okay. So he has a little tap. I think this is where it all starts for him. And that allows David to just get up on his rear end, hound him. And now he's like an X-ray sandwich. And there he goes. Wide.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's wind that back. And let's slow it down.
So that's the incident.
This is the incident. Now, what was the general feeling about this incident in the pits?
I think if you want me to be honest,
I do want you to be honest.
I think it was very robust, but it was fair, I think. Because you can see, like, Michael obviously went wide, and it looks like here in this camera angle that David basically, like, shafted him. But
I'm going to tell you where this started. Go ahead.
But I think realistically, Michael went wide, and David saw an opportunity, and I guess you could argue David was on the line. Because when I heard the refs making the call, and that was their take on it. They said Michael landed wide and David were on the inside, and Michael tried to shut the door. I guess my only thing there is it looks like Michael was still in the front, and I think that's where people are getting a little bit off. That was his takeout. But I think that's why I say it was robust, but I think it is what it is.
All right, so I saw this just now. This is where it went wrong for Mikkel. He comes around, he's too tight. He clips that pipe, and then he clips this pipe slightly.
It's slightly, but it's not enough to unsettle the car. But I guess it sent him wide, maybe.
Let's see. Let's go back. Right there, he's like, right here from this angle, it looks like he's hitting the pipe, right?
Let's see. Because, yeah, okay, no, I take that back. It does upset the car. Like, ever so slightly, but it did. And you can see there, like, it looks like it was a tap from behind. It wasn't really side by side, but it is what it is.
So right there, Ronafalk has the inside line.
But you can see Orlowski's still ahead, which is, I think, the argument.
I could see both arguments here, but I can see why the referee didn't give this a penalty. Because it's like Ronafalk has this line. Orlowski was out here. I know people ain't going to agree with me. They're going to say I'm a Ronafalk fanboy. And Will is a Orlowski fanboy, by the way. So I'm only joking. You are an Orlowski fan. But at that point, Ronafalk kind of, okay, people can say, well, his wheels are ahead of him, but Ronafalk has the line. Orlowski came from out her and squirted back in her, and then they got entangled. You know what? People are like, yeah, I think this is a racing incident. I don't think Ronafalk took him out. I think Ronafalk saw him go wide, you go back. Ronafalk saw this happening from this start. I'll tell you where Ronafalk saw it. He saw it. So here we have Orlowski. He comes over. He just gets a little bit upset there. He goes a little bit wider than usual. Has to bring it back in. Over rotates. Clips that pipe. Sends him wide. At this point, Ronafalk's like, all right, I'm going on the inside, which he should. Ronafalk's still holding his line. And then Orlowski tries to cut back in and gets the shit end of the stick. To be fair, I think this could have went either way. I think this could have went as a penalty for Ronafalk if a referee really wanted to be significant. But I think the best way it went was, I think it was 50-50. I think that Orlowski got off his line and he went wide, and then he tried to squirt back up in there. And that's when he got entangled with Ronafalk. Ronafalk was still holding his line. He dove in there. He had to dive in there. But Who knows? Maybe if it was a different referee, it would have been seen a different way. How did you talk to Mikal at all about it? How did he feel about it?
No, I didn't talk to him about it. I mean, I think understandably he was annoyed, but I think with the Schumacher team manager,
he should
they
be
were like
annoyed.
obviously they were talking to the ref about it and trying to get it overturned. I think, but in the end, the ref's decision is final. So I think they left it and then it went down to A3.
That's what it comes down to. And we're going to get into A3, which is fucking crazy, as you say here in the notes.
It was absolutely mental.
All right. Well, let's go. While you talk about that, I'll get to the incident. We'll get it playing here.
If you go to the last 30 seconds, that's the juicy stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, start us off with A3, Will.
Yeah. So A3, what do I have here in my notes? I can't remember if Bayer made a mistake or not on the. Oh, I didn't write. Did I write it down? A3.
Bayer had to make. He makes a mistake here. He is currently.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, so Bayer made a mistake. I think on the second lap, he was going over the quad, and I think he landed on the pipe, and then he had to get turn marshaled. And then Orlowski managed to capitalize, and then he was leading for the next 4 and a bit minutes.
Actually, Orlowski made a very good pass.
He's
I
sorry.
have it right here. I have it right here.
I'm getting confused myself. But yeah, I think
don't worry.
Where did he make the move? Where was the video?
So right here, you'll see it. So this is lap number. They're going on lap.
Before the 180.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
yeah,
Orlowski makes a beautiful passer. He does clip Bayer, but I think this is for. So Bayer starts it here. He gets up on two wheels. Orlowski's able to come through. And you know what? I would apply the same rules I apply to Ronafalk in that situation. I think Orlowski is clear with that.
Yeah, I would say that was side by side. You could see that was a bit more obvious. But yeah, you see it was getting a bit hit and miss. But yeah, basically the next 4 minutes, well, 3 and a bit minutes here, but basically it's just a freight train like this. So it was absolutely thrilling to watch and nail biting on the net for the Schumacher guys because Michael wasn't really able to extend his lead much. It kind of stayed like this. So I don't know if you want to if you want to skip about.
But I want to see how Yuna gets in the lead. That's what I want to see. So we'll just keep on talking about this because Yuna eventually inherits this lead if something happens between these two guys.
But that happens in the last minute.
Oh, so we'll go to the last minute because Will says we got to go to the last minute. All right. So
I'll go to if I was to go to 40 seconds ago, that's when. 40 seconds ago.
We'll start at 53. All right, so right now we have Orlowski, Zaleski, Yuna, and Ronafalk in a four-way train going through the track right now, going through the 180s over the doubles, and I think that's Kobovic, who's in fifth. Okay, so Zaleski goes wide over the quad. That allows Yuna to get into place. Yuna's the more lime green and white car in second, and there's Ronafalk right behind him. So 32 seconds left to go.
And then I believe David makes a pretty good move on Yuna. I think he does it on the quad, actually. I think it might even happen this lap. So you see there, Michael just clipped that corner. But if you want to rewind, Michael just clipped that. That's all it took. All he had to do was, I believe, just stroke it home. But yeah, he could clip that corner, and then you keep watching here, and then David does exactly the same thing as leg 2, but I would say this was a bit more clear that he had, I would say, the line. He was already in front. Well, I love Yuna, good buddy, but I think in the video here, you can see David was already in front. Or at least it seemed a little bit more obvious than what the Michael and David situation was.
Sorry, I would agree with you. This is a lot more obvious than the Orlowski Ronafalk incident.
Because it looks like Yuna went. Be honest, Yuna didn't really have anything. I think he could have obviously got a podium from this, but he wasn't able to win. So, I guess just like David, just like obviously you were still on power when you landed, so that's the big thing as well, where you have to be on power through that corner because you have such a little straight after the quad, and yeah, but like the whole room went absolutely crazy because that last minute, like all these crashes happened, and then after that, I think Zaleski got into Yona a little bit, so I think looks like Hatton, I think might have went down to 4th or 5th. Looks like he went down to 4th, and yeah, Ronefeld got the win in a pretty spectacular style. I have to give it to him. So
I like Ronefeld putting his elbows out. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to do it a lot. But then I guess like if you're a racer, it's like the old center thing. It's like where if there's a gap, I know this will open a whole can of worms in itself, but if you don't go for the gap, you're not a racer or something like that. I guess it's kind of like that. But I don't know, but that's that. I know people will make that sort of whole argument in himself, but yeah, Ronefeld got the win there. So I think he had a. I can't remember if did he win another. No, he got a second, I think, in another leg. Actually, no, I had the results up. I'll tell you. So yeah, he got a second in leg 2, and it looks like he must have had the faster time. So he was able to take the overall win because Michael and Bartos had 4 points in the end. They had a 1 and a 3 each. Well, actually, no, Bartos had 2 2s. So Michael finished in second. So at least he salvaged something from this week. Didn't go as bad as 2-wheel, but I know obviously he would have really loved to win 4-wheel there. But he was also running a prototype car. So I guess
which we're gonna have a view at. So your overall running order was Ronefeld, Orlowski, Zaleski, Martin Beyer, Una Hotnen, Daniel Kovacic, Widmeyer, Ongaro, Karap, and Borak Kilik. And then I also have the 2-wheel drive results that I didn't have which were in the notes, by the way, everybody. And I was busy looking around for them. Thank you, Will. I'm an idiot. Martin Beyer, David Ronefeld, Una Hotnen, and Zaleski. So here's something I want to talk about. I think in one of the finals, it might have been the last final where Beyer was leading and Zaleski was right behind him. I remember them saying, I think it was Frank or one of them was saying or maybe it was Lee who was commentating, said that if Zaleski would have won, it would have been an XRAY 1, 2, 3 in the sweep in the 2-wheel drive side of things. But that would have required probably Martin Beyer pulling over and letting him by. I wish he would have done that. That would have been awesome to talk about. But he didn't. And it was Martin Beyer, David Ronefeld, Una Hotnen, Bartosz Zaleski. If he keeps racing, he'll have plenty of years to win a Euros. Davide Ongaro, Mikael Orlowski, Marcus Karap, John Figueredo, Borak, and Jorn Newman were your top 10 out of 2-wheel drive. So that ends our mains and qualifiers. Congratulations to Beyer and congratulations to Ronefeld and congratulations to XRAY, who continues their sweep of winning national titles and European titles. They didn't win an e-buggy European championship, but they won every European and national title and offer it since pretty much this year. Besides that, and going into the e-buggy worlds and 10-scale worlds, they look very comfortable to win that as well. So, XRAY domination, dude. I mean, in our home track, lots of stuff going on. Let's get into some of the nitty gritty type of stuff that we heard that we're talking about in our post race talking points. Mills, he's getting nervous already. He's like, now it's time to talk about the controversial stuff. And what better way to talk about controversial stuff than have it brought to you by Invisible Speed?
Stop scrolling, you wannabe Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling. Stop scrolling. All right. So let's get into some of the controversy and post talking points. X-ray domination. We can't argue about that. That's nothing. I don't think we can argue that they dominated. If you would have told me Bayer would have been one of these, I'd have told you it's crazy. I'm not shocked that Runnefalk won. I'm happy that he won but I think that Runnefalk has that win at Barcelos has definitely boosted confidence that he needed. And I teased him the other day. I said, so we're going to call you the glue track master because you kick ass on glue tracks. And we're going to have Runnefalk won, but probably after we come back from the e-buggy worlds. He probably wants to win that and then have a good chat. X-Ray's doing good on both continents, dude. There's no arguing over it. And all the associated guys, because they're teasing me at INS, you're going to be talking about X-Ray dominance and how X-Ray's got this sweet. This was Aiden Horn teasing me, right? Just joking around. But I mean,
like, especially now that I've been and I had a pretty in-depth tour when filming that segment, like with RC TV. You can see why, and I honestly think like it's going to be really hard for someone to like beat a facility like that. And when you have a facility like that, there's so much you can do. Like they have lines and lines of CNC machines,
really,
like anodizing machines, like everything, like 5D. Like I'm not much into engineering, but I just know they had 5D and CNC machines and all that stuff. But yeah, you can see why, like, they're starting to do really well. And if you have a facility like that where you can design something in the morning and then have it by the afternoon, like a pretty high quality, version of whatever you're designing, then yeah, you can see why like their development like is starting to really, really get up there. And I think like, and as we're seeing now, they're starting to do really well. They've always done really well, but especially now in 10 scale, they've like, well, I guess smaller 2-wheel drive, I guess they're up to level, and even 8 scale, it seems like they're kind of like probably one of the better cars to have now for sure.
Okay. I mean, they always kind of had that ability to make parts and all that stuff. That's what happens when you make everything there in-house. So I'm not surprised that they're dominant. They got some really good drivers. They got some really good drivers on the USA side. They got some really good drivers. They've always had really good drivers on the European side. But now they have more of a, I think with Runnefalk, I get it. He's doing the touring car stuff and all that type of stuff, but this is his bread and this is what he's good at. He's good at 8 scale racing primarily and then 10 scale racing. I'm not saying he's not good at touring car, and I know he wants to do that, but this is what you hire Runnefalk for, this type of stuff. And he goes out and gets you a 4-wheel drive victory as well as Bayer. Now, the question can be asked, did X-Ray have too much of an advantage? If you ask anybody about X-Ray, of course they're going to say yes. Of course there was, I have to say there was some advantage. I'm pretty sure all of these guys went to the warm-up. They got used to the surface. But I think the real advantage was not selling the 4-wheel drive tires. I think that's where we get into the gray area and the shady area. So Bayer and those guys are running the 4-wheel drive tires on the fronts. Sorry, the front tires, right? We're talking about, correct?
Yeah.
So they were running those on 2-wheel drive.
Yeah. So like, so for like the Proline guys, like on clay, you run the 4-wheel drive Bald Eagle on the front. It's basically the same thing here. So I think the general consensus was it was just more consistent steering, a little bit more steering, which I think on that track you could always do with a little bit more steering. So yeah, so it was a little bit of drama because not even all X-Ray drivers were allowed to have the tire. I know, like I think it was only the top guys they were letting them have the 4-wheel drive tire, and the lower guys weren't able to have it.
There's a spec rear tire, but not a spec front tire for 2-wheel drive?
Yeah, correct. So for 2-wheel, the front tire is never controlled. Obviously, for 4-wheel, it is. For 4-wheel, both tires are controlled, but for 2-wheel, it's never controlled on the front.
Okay, so this is definitely X-Ray gray area here. Definitely.
Well, I guess some people will say that, but I guess it kind of comes back to, I guess I definitely have two opinions on this, and one of them is obviously definitely kind of on your side. It is a grey area that, but like I guess the other side of it is that
Why would you sell your?
If you were them, well, why would you give away your advantage like that? And like you can kind of, there's nothing to say that you can't not sell it if you were them. So like if you're never branded in that position, because I think was it a few years ago when maybe I don't know if it was Hot Race or Six Mick, but there was a certain track where one particular tire was working really well, and if you weren't a driver for them, they wouldn't give you the tires even if you wanted to buy them. I think maybe it was Bayer. I think I heard he had to.
No, this happened to XRAY.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, it's not just XRAY. Like,
so they said Bayer. So Bayer actually drove overnight to go get tires from France, like buy them at a shop and bring them back. I think it was at a Euros, 8 scale Euros. I'm not sure. So
yeah, I think it was. So like, so when you see it that way, like, do you really? From a racer's side, it absolutely sucked. It was annoying. It was frustrating for 100%. I'm not going to deny that. But if you were them and you knew like that front tire was going to be better, of course you'd limit the supply to it. Maybe it's only your team guys, or you'd make sure that no one else had it, because ultimately tires are 80% of the setup. So
what were people running for? Okay, so my question would be, what were people running for two-wheel drive front tires?
So just a standard two-wheel drive hoodie tire.
Okay.
So
okay,
if you want, I have both tires here, so you guys can see the difference.
Oh, so you had to run a hoodie tire. You couldn't. What?
No, I mean you could run whatever front tire you wanted. You could run the whole shot if you really wanted, but like obviously generally people were running basically the tires they recommended. So you can see here, this is the useful.
Okay,
so that's the two-wheel drive tire, and then the four-wheel. So you can see it's just wider.
And those were fitting. So they were putting were they putting the four-wheel drive rims on there as well?
No, just a tire.
Okay,
just a tire on the two-wheel drive wheel.
All right. I kind of get, so XRAY probably going tit for tat. He wanted to sell us tires, so we're not going to sell you tires. You know what? XRAY, gray area, man. Gray area. I get it. People's like, Lefty, you wouldn't agree with everybody too much. You know what? You're going to take, if this is racing and you want to win on your home track, you're going to do all that you can to make sure that your competition does not have an advantage like you do. So I get it why racers are upset, but I'm also like, that's fucking brilliant by XRAY. Like my evil Dr. Evil mind's like, that's fucking brilliant. Like that's fucking brilliant by XRAY. And I'm actually honestly not surprised at all by that, to be honest. So I could, but I understand the kerfuffle and I understand why people are upset, but it's not spec. So they can do what they want. But somebody would have to go drive to wherever. I don't know. I guess they don't sell them anywhere else in the world, anywhere else in Europe. So nobody made an overnight drive like Bayer did to go get those seismic tires that he needed that they needed at the Euros. So, hey man, XRAY was, I was making sure that they had an advantage of some sort. Now, as for people going to the warm up, yes, I know your argument, but everybody can go to that, right? It's not just open to them. You can go to the warm up. I think that's not, I get it. It's an excuse, but it's not an excuse. We've had this discussion before. We had this discussion with a fellow UK driver whose name begins with an S and has an M in it as well. But I'm kind of on the fence of the four-wheel drive. I'm on the fence where it's brilliant, actually. I think it's brilliant by XRAY to do that. Is it first sport and all that type of stuff? Yes and no. Because you don't give your competition advantages, right? Especially at a European Championship at home, but you want to win. But I get it, why people would be upset that they couldn't get that. But there's nothing you can really do about that if they won't sell it to you. No one says they have to sell it to you.
And also the other thing is, I think they were commercially available before the event, because obviously people ran that tire at the warm-up. So I think that's the thing is, you were able to get it from somewhere, but I guess people didn't think about it because obviously XRAY aren't going to tell you what people were running. But they weren't selling it. they weren't selling that tire really to anyone. Even other X-Ray drivers. I think it was only top guys that were getting it. So I think I don't know if even Johnny got it for two wheel. That's what I mean. So
it sucks, but that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. X-Ray can say, "Well, look what happened to us at the Euros when we needed seismic tires, and nobody would sell them to us." So that's a moot point, tit for tat. Another point was brought up was the team managers meeting. No allowed celebration on the rostrum, and we saw lots of celebration on the rostrum from Bayer. We saw from Ronafal. I still don't understand why these drivers insist on hitting the hard ass fucking driver stand with their hands. You know, their hands is what they make money with. All you need to do is do a Barry Baker and celebrate. Barry Baker, he punched it or something like that. He was mad. But this celebrating and smashing your hands on the fucking driver stand should stop. Can we just fist pump? Yeah. We don't need to damage our hands.
But it's like when you're like really, you know, like you can imagine how much emotion is going through you, and like, you know, when you win, I know what you're trying to say, but like for someone for someone that's like won like a race and stuff in the past, I don't mean like a small club race. And I know I'm bigging myself up here, but like I've won Winter Series races or whatever. Like you know, when you get really excited, you win and your emotion just comes out. It's just like the celebration. I get what you're saying, and like, oh, it's not good, but that's a European champion, especially for Bayer. Like, get the guys. I agree. You know, let him hit it. Like,
but we saw Noah Ben Mohammed. Now, I heard it was excessive celebration. I heard that Noah Ben Mohammed's case in the Euros last year is like he fell or something like that. Now, but it's still celebrating, right? I think we should let them celebrate. I have no issue with them celebrating. I get why they don't want the rule. I think these drivers need to stop hitting the driver stand, because now everybody's going to do it. Every up and coming race is going to be like, yeah, I won. Oh, I broke my hand. Now I can't race no more. But I think I get it. But there is a rule saying no celebrating, and they did celebrate. So I guess the referee allowed it. They allowed it at 10 scale Euros last year when Coelho celebrated. You know, they banned. So maybe excessive celebrating is what the rule is about. Not just.
I guess the main thing though was that Ben did it in a qualifier, but this is the finals. So I think obviously, like, you know, imagine how bad EFRA would look if, like, you said to Ronafal, yeah, sorry, you're not getting a title because you celebrated.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and also, people are still on their own individual clock while they're qualifying, but then the people are still racing. Well, okay, you're on your last lap. Like, you're going to maybe come 7th or 8th or whatever, you know? But I think it's more of a deterrent. It's more of a distraction when you're qualifying, right? Because when I'm up on the driver's stand and I'm filming, I try not to do it in qualifying. I used to be bad about that, like just walking across the rostrum. But then I was like, oh no, I can't. Like, I'm disturbing these guys because you're walking and you're boop 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 boop. So I get it. So maybe it's just during qualifying. But yes, they gotta celebrate. But I wish they had stopped celebrating by smacking the damn driver's stand, because one day, someone's gonna break the hand. Watch me. Guys don't turn marshal because they might get hurt, right? That's why they have some people that turn marshal for them. Yeah, like you see a lot of top guys. Like I tell you, like Ronnie Rivkin always turn marshals for Rivkin when he's at a race.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
And but you got to think of it too. Like if these guys get hit in the head or hurt their hands and stuff, they can't race. Like an RC related injury. Imagine that. But we have to kind of clarify the celebration rule, I think, before we do anything. So who knows what that was all about? Who knows? Anything else? Post-race talking points before we move on to winners and losers.
Just trying to look for my notes for anything. Winners and losers. Like, I guess we haven't gone through the brands yet, have we? On that.
No, but we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna go to winners and losers. But
let's do that now.
Let's shout out to Beach RC and for all their support. Thank you to Beach RC. I'm going to Masters of Dirt in Arizona. Oh yeah. I'll be.
You didn't come when I went last year, and now I'm not there. You're gonna go.
Well, it's part of a 6-week 6-week tour of the USA. So yeah, it's gonna be it's the third race of 6. So I'm doing all this because I'm still trying to find my ad for it, because I should know this because I'm a professional podcaster, and I still can't because I have all these videos here. There we go.
BeachRC.com, the racer's one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, S-Works, Pro Circuit Racing tires, Nitro Lux fuels, and Assault RC performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you, BeachRC, for your continued support. We do have an affiliate link in there, and I look forward to going to Masters Dart. I'm sorry I cut you off. You were about to say something. I played the commercial. I do apologize.
No, all I was going to say, just my buddy Darren's going, so just say hi to him for me.
I'm actually looking forward to going to Hobby Action. It's a place I've never been and I want to go. You've been before. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward
really cool. I think after like Hoodie Arena, that's probably like the second best facility I've probably ever been to.
All right. Well, we're going to get into the BeachRC winners and losers. XRAY Schumacher, you have as winners. I would say so, because the only person that really did well in the finals with Associated was Yuna. Not saying that, all right, Ongaro had a top 5, but the other AE guy, which was Marcus, kind of didn't show up. You have losers, S-Works? What? I would have S-Works as medium.
Well, I couldn't leave losers empty. I have nothing against S-Works. I just thought because Yorn was like 19th, and Mika didn't make the main in 2-wheel.
Yeah, but Yorn
although Yorn had a TQ, didn't he finish like towards the back in the end of the final?
Yeah, but he made the main with the brand new car.
I guess there's that. So maybe is it like a middle ground, like medium losers?
I think there's some biased team associated stuff going on her, because I'm calling an audible her. I'm calling an audible her. I'm putting S-Works in my book. I'm putting S-Works as medium, and I'm putting team associated as loser. Come on, Will.
Okay, fine.
I think there's some biased team associated stuff going on her. But your opinion
I could have put associated in winners, but obviously, of course, I didn't.
How they won? What did they win?
Yeah, but Yuna was really quick in both classes.
Oh, you know what?
Really quick.
I'll put Schumacher as medium, because they didn't win nothing.
Yeah. Well, they TQ'd a few rounds in 2-wheel.
They have
almost won the race. And it's
almost. I farted and it wasn't really what I thought it was, and I almost had an accident. So I don't know. I don't know. I think the only winner from this race was XRAY, to be honest. I have them as the only winner. I will put Schumacher as medium. I will put S-Works as Masa Manus. And I'm going to put Team Associated in the loser pile this weekend. I know that hurts your heart. I know you don't agree with me. But to have top...
I'm going to cry myself to sleep now.
I know. I don't know how you're going to live with yourself. I expected more from Kara, I would say. I would expect him. He's still... Look, we can't win everything, right? He's still got a illustrious career. I'm going to put Mugen. You know who I'll put? Mugen as a winner. Made the final.
The one.
Both finals. Prototype car. Only real Mugen out there. Mugen, XRAY, my winners. And Will has XRAY and Schumacher. He has S-Works as a loser, and Medium as team associated. How much did Drescher pay you to put associated as Medium?
I plead the fifth, can I say.
All right. Let us know what you guys let us know what you guys think. Do you think XRAY was the only winner? Do you have Mugen as a winner? I do. Schumacher. S-Works a loser? I don't think so. Team Associated should be winning this stuff. They want to win this. They want to add to their championship title box thingy that they have, So they had the drivers to do it. Drivers. Winner. Ronnefalk and Zaleski. I would not agree with that. I would add Bayer to this, to be honest.
I don't know why I didn't add Bayer to that. But I was putting these notes together too quick.
Yes, she was.
We're putting Bayer on there.
Okay,
he's
we agree.
Winners for sure.
So we agree that Ronafalk, Zaleski, and Bayer are winners, which are all X-ray drivers, by the way. So the only winners that we have there. Loser, Orlowski. I would have to agree with you on this one because Orlowski, we expect him to win these races, right? But he made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes this past weekend. Touching the pipes. Okay, we can argue about the Ronafalk incident a little bit, but it started corners before that with him making mistakes. So yeah, I have him there. Schmedium, I'm sorry. I like Marcus Carup. I do, but I'm putting him in the loser category. I'm sorry. I'm putting him there because I expect better. I would agree that Burak and Ungaro are Schmedium as well. So yeah, because I think
there's something we agree on.
We do. We agree on three things here besides Marcus. And no offense to Marcus, he has plenty of chances to do this, but I just don't have him in Schmedium. Schmedium would have been a top 5. So that's my thoughts on that. And you know who I'm going to add to this? Jorn Newman. He was Schmedium. If there's a thing between winner and loser and Schmedium, he's above Schmedium. Because he made the final and he TQ'd Iran on a brand new car. And he's older than all these guys. Besides Bayer. So good luck to him. Any adjustments to that before we move on? We're going to look at some prototype cars. But before we do that, let's pay some bills. Sidewinder Fuel. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for over 35 years. Nothing to do with Nitro on this podcast. This has enabled them to test their fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is Sidewinder, the market's most powerful racing fuel. This fuel is track tested and proven by national world champions, including Ryan Cavallari, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Pavidis, and their top driver right now, Fee Long Win, aka Little Bump, who looked very impressive in that new MP11 Kia show at Wicked Weekend. These drivers appreciate that Sidewinder is blended perfectly for the high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today. All right, well, so let's start off. We had the Mugen prototype. You didn't get no pictures of it, but let's bring up. This is where we really need Max, because this is where Max goes into extreme science mode with everything. Like, I could look at these cars and I still want to know what the difference is, but SRX debuts a new car, which I think is good for them, new 2-wheel drive car. Maybe give you your thoughts if I'm watching it in person real quick.
Yeah, it looks really good, to be honest. Like, I remember, I probably shouldn't say this, but I remember like one of the, it seems that the S-Works program, I'm not going to say who, but I remember, but like someone told me like who was an S-Works driver. Like, it seemed like a lot of emphasis was on 8 scale, and it looks like the 10 scale stuff that kind of left it a little bit for a while. I might be wrong here, but it seems like now they've kind of turned around on that, and like you can see here, like Jorn had a prototype 2-wheel drive, and it looked really good. I think if no disrespect to Jorn, but I think if Jorn is TQing, and he's obviously one of the older guys, then you can imagine like maybe someone younger, like maybe at the top of their game, like where maybe this car could be. I guess like you could say that's where Mika should be, but I guess Mika had a bit of a rough time. But yeah, it's got really wide front shock towers. I thought at first I honestly thought it was like a truck shock tower or something. But yeah, it was pretty good going around. Obviously, you're on to TQ. I can't tell if they're someone told me that this had B7 parts in it, but I don't know how true that is.
I don't know. I shouldn't have played that. That they've been using a lot of B7 parts with this car. I know they've been working on this car for a while. I know guys that were running this car. They used a lot of B7 parts, and I think they've got something that works now, and they're probably still using some B7 parts, so they get their prototype parts. Or who knows? But I think it's a pretty good debut for it with Jorn. Well done to him. And I'm sure somebody will chime in here, will tell me much more about this in the comments. Let us know if you know anything about that as well. And I'm looking for my but let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, right? Because let's talk about the big elephant in the room. So let me tell you something. At INS, we actually had to take down the action shots of this car. Yeah, it was the Schumacher car. The shaft-driven Schumacher car, right? I don't understand what the big secret is about this car. It's another shaft-driven car from them. Obviously, they've been belt-driven for many, many years. But we got a rear end picture of the Schumacher. We'll bring it up here. And obviously, you've seen this car quite a lot because you're. But here's the rear end of the Schumacher car. I believe that's Orlowski's car. Yeah, that's his colors.
No, that's Wesley Van Helmond.
Oh, Wesley Van Helmond. He has one too?
Yeah.
He's
a lot of guys are starting to get a lot of people are starting to get this car, to be fair. Because even a few like British guys now are getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So do we even have the photo anymore? Or you said you had to take it down?
I have it. But I tell you what, every top driver at INS was running this car. So
like it kind of
everybody.
Yeah, like it's definitely turning a lot of heads, and it looks like Schumacher have actually done pretty good with this car. Like I have to give them credit on it. Kinda under the hood, it kind of reminds me of it's got a lot of gunmetal on it, as in like the anodizing. So it kind of looks like the old shaft-driven YZ4. Not the belt-driven one, like the actual shaft drive one. Kind of looks like that underneath, but obviously it's completely different. But it looks really good. Is it a close generation, a lot of grip? But just some of the feedback I'm hearing is that you don't have to drive it that hard to get the pace out of it. Well, it seems like a lot of other cars, it seems like you have to drive quite hard to get the pace out of it. But it's looking good. I think it was first kind of unveiled, I guess you could say, in Australia, which was like a couple of months ago. But from my understanding, I think they're pretty close to a production. I think it's just a case of a few molds. So
here we go.
I doubt. Yeah, here we go. So you can kind of see. You can kind of see what it looks like underneath the hood. So it does kind of have that Yokomo look to it, in my opinion. I don't know if you ever saw the old Yokomo or not.
I mean, it just looks like another shaft-driven car to me. I really can't tell. So this is Brock Champlin's car, and I did this. But basically, so this is before I think his A3 might have been, or A1, sorry. So something went wrong with his car. And I have to say, Brock looked great with this car at INS, and he dominated. He did very well there. And he had to run back to the pits. And then Danny was on there, and I was like, yeah, just stay there, Danny. Get in closer. And I'm shocked that nobody has posted this picture up. I am so shocked that nobody posted this picture up. Actually, this was sent to me from somebody in Australia who said the same thing. I can't believe this hasn't made the social medias. But here we have a clear view of the car. Obviously, you're close with Michael, so you know a lot about this. They've been developed. It seems like they've been developing this car for quite some time, and it looked good in the hands of Brock Champlin. I will say this.
Yeah, like I think, like I was saying, like they've been running the car. I'm sure even before Australia, but they've like been kind of publicly running it since then, and it's been pretty good. But yeah, what I was going to say, like I think they're in the final stages of getting this kind of release. I won't be surprised if we don't see this release before the Worlds. But yeah, like they were I was speaking to one of the guys about it, and they seem like, because that's why like we're able to show it. Like Martin actually, and he's kind of a lot closer to Schumacher now. Like everyone kind of knows they've seen the car now a little bit, so. Like,
I don't see what the big deal is.
Available, but I think it's because for Schumacher, they always were belt driven. And it looks like now they've kind of gone more of a traditional route with the shaft drive. So for them, it's not just a case of like going from, I don't know, as a pure example, like a B44 to like a B64 or something like that. Or it's like this is literally a brand new platform for them. And I don't think they've really ever done shaft driven four-wheel drive. So
it is a big deal.
First whack at it. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think that's why it's such a big deal. It's the same thing when the Schumacher two-wheel drive came out and it was a gearbox instead of a belt drive. So
interesting stuff.
But I think it'll be good. Like, I think a lot of people complain about the belts. So now it's like they've got a shaft drive car. No one can really complain anymore unless they're like stripping gears or something. So I think it's going to be good.
What about the B8? How was that? It seemed pretty good. I mean, was very fast with it. How about in general? I watched the walkabout, and Marcus and everybody seemed to be happy with it to an extent. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I can only talk for Europe, but I think it's been a little bit of a learning curve, but like it's really starting to get there now. Like we just had our national this weekend, and Tommy Hall like cleaned up for sure in 4-wheel, because Ben is actually, some people know Ben Smith, like upcoming, and he's basically there now, like a really top guy in the UK and even in Europe now. He's been running that car. He has a chance to win the 4-wheel drive title, and he's basically been dominant with that car all year. And Tommy managed to like not only win the finals, but I think he won with like half a lap or like a very substantial lead. So, but while at the national, that Neil won his 100th, we struggled a little bit, but I think it was the first time we ran the car there. So, but it's actually looking really good. And obviously, got on really well with it. We had another two. We had Ongara and Marcus in the main. So, yeah, I think it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, like anything, it takes time. I think the Schumacher faithful will be happy getting rid of belts, getting it to shaft driven. It was good to see. I mean, I tell you what. Now I'm throwing Brock into that mix of possibly winning a world championship as well. So he looked good. He looked very good with it, and we shall see. We shall see. Exciting times. Exciting times. Can't wait for the 10 scale world.
Did Brock go to the warm up or not?
I don't know.
World warm up.
I don't know if he did or not.
Because I thought he would have. I thought he would have gone, because that would be quite big. It looks like going there is a massive advantage. It's like same thing like with the arena if you went.
You know what? We have to stop considering Brock champion just a carpet racer, because that dude's damn fast on all surfaces.
Well, I think even in 2019, I remember seeing him. I think he might have won the B final on 4-wheel back then as well. Yeah,
we shall see. All right.
We'll see.
Will, closing thoughts on the Euros before we wrap this up. We've been an hour and 8 minutes over schedule.
Honestly, I think it was a really good Euros. I'm really happy it was back on dirt again, because basically since COVID, it's just been on artificial surfaces, which I get, because that's kind of all we race on. But I also think now, like the Europeans, whenever we go on dirt, like we're nowhere. So I think it's good to have dirt back in Euros. I really hope it sticks and we kind of race on more dirt tracks. Definitely need more dirt tracks. But I mean, obviously, closing thoughts. Honestly, the XRAY Hoodie family did a fantastic job with the track, the event. Obviously, congrats to David and Martin on their results. And yeah, really good event.
I would agree there. I think it was better than last year's one. I wasn't really happy with the track last year, and it had potential to be really good up there in Malmö in Sweden, and it just was kind of lackluster in my opinion. This track, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all of the 6 finals. I watched them. Rewatched them again today. It was some exciting racing. It's good to see Martin. Like I can't hate on Martin Bear. Like I congratulate him. I think he done good. I'm uber pumped for Ronnefolk too. Got his mojo back, and XRAY is doing well, man. XRAY is doing well. Like I can't. I've said it over and over again. You would think that XRAY is paying me to say this, but they ain't. They're doing well. They're doing quite well, and you have to give people their flowers when they're doing well, right? And then they sprinkle in a little bit of gray area. Now, what I like, a little bit of drama. Not selling 4-wheel drive tires there. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And you know what? It was a great weekend of 10 scale racing. It was some good racing at INS that weekend and at Hobbyplex. And it was some great racing for Euros. And it seems like it's a great year just for a 10 scale period. Maybe because I'm really paying attention and I'm really involved in the 10 scale world this year. But it's been exciting. I'm kicking myself because I'm not going to the Worlds. I really want to go. I have the time off. I could be there. I just have to get money to go there, right? I really want to go to the Worlds. I
have a spare room. I have a spare bed in my room. So there you go.
You don't want me to sleep in your room. I snore loudly.
Oh, don't tell me like Matt. It feels bad, Matt.
I am the worst snorer. It sounds like a lion. In and out.
Okay.
Inhale.
You didn't hear that offer then. You didn't hear that offer.
Will, I'm glad you got to do some racing. Thank you for your time, for coming on here. I greatly appreciate it. And I probably won't see you. Well, we'll probably chat. I look forward to you going to the Worlds. Enjoy yourself there. I look forward to your vlog. I look forward to the content you made with RC Racing TV. And once again, congratulations to everybody out there. Congratulations to Martin Beyer. Congratulations to David Ronafalk. Congratulations to XRAY on winning sweeping the European Championships and a good contender. We got the e-buggy Worlds coming up. They could possibly win that. Fend and Ronafalk's going. And of course, Fend and Ronafalk will be and Beyer will be at the offer. You know what? I'll tell you, you know who I talked to at Wicked Weekend? And this is when you know you got the mind of a champion. You don't like to lose. So I was talking to Cavallari, and I was like, "You're going to the Worlds, right?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I think you'll make the main." He goes, he looked at me like this. He goes, "Make the fucking main? I'm going to win that shit." And I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be something if Cavallari goes there and does really well? I mean, he's won 4 world championships outdoor racing, I think. So who knows? But that's even, that's the attitude to have, right? Just go out there and give it your best and try to win. If you go in there thinking you're going to lose, you're going to lose anyway. It was a good chat with Cavallari. We'll talk more about that on the Wicked Weekend recap. Thank you all. We hope you guys enjoyed this European recap. If we got some things wrong, I'm sure you'll let us all know in the comments there. And I do apologize for the ads that popped up on there, but I don't have YouTube Premium, and I'm sure there will be a whole discussion on the NNRC Discord, which you can join. There's links for that in the written description, which has new admins now. So they have the power. And I'm sure there will be a discussion on how we can have ad-free YouTube on the No Name RC podcast. Will, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And thank you for the recap. It was good chatting with you. And anything to say before we go?
No, I think that kind of wraps it up. Thanks for having me. And everyone, the vlog will be out in the next few days. So that'll be on this channel. It'll be on this channel. So make sure to...
Oh, it's going to be on the...
and subscribe.
It's going to be on your channel?
Yeah. No, this channel. NNRC.
Oh, okay. You're putting on... Okay, I wasn't sure. Right. So it's going to be on the NNRC.
I always put the vlogs on this channel. So.
There we go. The chairman has spoken, and I look forward to it. I also look forward to the factory tour of man, I want to get to Hudi Arena. That's one of my dreams, to get there one time.
Oh, yeah, you have to go.
All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, or if you have anything, if you have any comments, please don't forget to hit that. Leave us a comment in the comment section. If you're listening to this on audio only, leave a review. I want to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. And I want to say a big thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do this without you. Thank you all for the support. Don't forget to hit that like notification button on YouTube if you haven't done that already. A big shout out to our patrons of the NNRC and YouTube members. You guys get early access. And a big shout out to our sponsors. Remember, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. And we have written in the written description, we have links for all of these sponsors. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuel, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Side Piece Racing, Dollar Hobbies, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, BeachRC.com, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. From Lefty and the chairman, you guys are out. And we'll see you at the next one. We'll probably be having you on for the World recap when you get back in a couple months. But into that, get some rest. Keep the tan as much as you can. You're probably going to get a tan down in Australia when you go there, because it's probably going to be summertime there for them. And if I don't have you on here before the Worlds, good luck at the Worlds, man. Enjoy yourself. Go cage diving with great white sharks, or not with a cage if you want to be brave. And enjoy yourself, man. I mean, look, the Worlds is going to be awesome, dude. The Worlds is going to be awesome. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I absolutely can't wait. It's going to be a really cool experience. And yeah, going to be vlogging out as well. So that'll be another episode coming as well. So even
That's
better.
Right.
And obviously, thanks to J Concepts for the support on that as well.
That's right. J Concepts is helping you out with your vlogs and helping you get there. That's J Concepts, man. They put a lot of money back into RC. Awesome company. And they put them. They are our primary sponsor here, and I love it. Me and Jason have nice conversations when we was at INS chilling out talking. And when I do get a chance to chat with him, and, you know, his pretty badass monster truck driver there. You know, he reincarnating his career as a monster truck driver is Jason Renner. And if you want to hear some more Jason Renner, we have INS podcast. I think that last INS podcast was really good. Really good. Go check it out if you haven't already. From Lefty and the Chairman, you'll see later. Nitro's glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. But 10 scale builds the skills, and monster trucks just pure fun. Lefty and the Chairman. We're out. Ta-ta for now.
See you later, folks.